Hi everyone, it's Adrian. Welcome back to ALTERKNIT. I know last time I told you we were going to do a TMI today, but we're not, so let's just move on from that. I've spoken to you guys so many times about where I am. There are not any knitting groups that I'm able to really join. There's not a lot of people that I know here that knit. And so one of the best things about that is that I get to connect with an online community, just like you guys do. You know, we can do that through all different kinds of social media environments, and one of my favorite at the moment is Instagram. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, Instagram, and I'm going to walk you through the top 10 Instagram accounts that I am following currently. It's sort of in no particular order, and there's plenty more to come at a different stage, but I'm just going to show you 10 today that I really like. And I thought I'd also talk to you about how Instagram works if you're not familiar with it. Okay, so if you are already very familiar with how Instagram works, then skip ahead to this time because the rest of this is just going to be mansplaining and babble and you don't need to hear it. Okay, for those of you who are not so familiar with Instagram or don't really use it, it is a social media platform just like Twitter and Snapchat and Facebook. I don't really understand what Snapchat's about yet. That's just me feeling like I'm getting old. Instagram is kind of like the anti-Twitter in that it is predominantly about the visual. People upload photos and they upload videos to a timeline. When you open up the Instagram app, there are 5 main icons along the bottom. The first one on the left is a little home icon, and this is your home feed, and it's basically the photos and videos that your friends or the people that you've chosen to follow will upload. And unlike Facebook, it has stayed in a most recent first kind of time frame rather than going with the most popular, which I find very annoying when it goes with the popularity thing, because I just want to make sure that I haven't missed anything that people have uploaded. So I want it to be the most recent first, and I can go all the way back down to the last time I checked Instagram. So that's how I like it to work. On the far right, you've got a little person icon, and this is going to show you your own feed. So this is basically a collection of all of your photos and videos that you have chosen to upload. When you upload a video or a photo, you can use a hashtag, which is very similar to Twitter. And the hashtag is basically connecting that image to a much larger pool of images that other people have uploaded and have connected with the same hashtag. For example, if you're outside and it's really sunny and beautiful and you take a photo and hashtag it summer, when you tap on the hashtag summer, you will find billions of photos that other people have put up and they've also hashtag summer. So it's a really great way for us to search the kind of things that we want to see. The second icon from the left is a little magnifying glass icon, and this is an explore function, and it basically looks like your own feed, but this is actually a feed made up of things that other people have posted that, you know, Instagram has used some complex algorithm to decide you might like this based on the previous stuff that you've liked. Which brings me to my next point, liking images. I can see here on my Explore feed right now that Very Pink Knits has uploaded a picture of Quince & Co. yarn with a bit of knitting there. And I'm gonna double tap that, and a little heart's gonna show up to mean that I've liked it. And in fact, I'm gonna now follow Very Pink Knits because I haven't been up until this point. When you like an image, you actually can see that again, and other people can see images that you've liked as well. So if you bother to look at mine, it's gonna be pictures of yarn, pictures of beautiful landscapes, and of scantily clad men. The love heart icon down on the bottom is kind of like your activity log, and this shows when people have liked one of your images, when they have put a comment on it, that kind of thing, and you can see the people that have followed you and whether or not you're following them. You can go and check out their Instagram and follow them back as well. Now the very last icon is the camera, and this is how you upload videos and photos, and you'll find there that you can add filters, so you can change the visual effect of the image to suit your own needs, and you can add hashtags and put captions on. You can tag people. You can also send it to Twitter and Facebook. So it does link in with other social media. So basically this is a really great way of curating the kinds of things that you want to see when you're browsing through Facebook, and you can use this as an inspiration board, very much like I think Pinterest is used. I don't use Pinterest myself, but that's basically Instagram in a nutshell. I hope that wasn't too like mansplainy, and I hope it was actually useful for you. If you're not on Instagram, get on Instagram. It's a really great way of keeping in touch with people around the world and seeing what they're doing rather than just talking about it on Ravelry or even Twitter. So without further ado, let's jump into some of these Instagram accounts that I've been following. As I said, in no particular order, here are the top 10 that I'm looking at currently. So number 10 is Julie from Woodfolkk. Look, I love looking at people's feeds when they introduce parts of their life as well. You know, things like sketching, the areas that where they live, the yarn that they're using and the projects that they're knitting. And you can see that Julia is, you know, brilliant at the Lopi sweater. I actually don't know how to pronounce that. And it doesn't really say where she is. Let me just check if she's geotagging her pictures. It doesn't look as though she has. But I just love kind of the landscapes that she shows, and the knitting that she does is absolutely beautiful. And I find the color palette of this feed is just another part of it that inspires me. So I just really love it, and I love her illustrations as well. And of course the flat lay kind of image that you see all throughout Instagram, and I'll pop one of hers up here, where you know it's a sort of very stylized aerial view of just a moment in time, or what you're working on, or what you've got growing around in the garden, and I think it's a really beautiful feed. So she is, you can find her at Woodfolkk with 2 Ks. She has 41,000 subscribers, so why not add another to her ranks? There's also a link at the top, waysofwoodfolk.etsy.com. So she has an Etsy store there that you can visit. And her tagline here is folklore, winter and making. And that's exactly what you're gonna get on her feed. Number 9 is HUNTERHAMMERSEN. Now, HUNTERHAMMERSEN says, I write and publish knitting books, which I admit is odd, but also kind of fun. If you're looking for pattern or yarn info, it's usually on the blog. Then she puts a link to her blog, violentlydomestic.com/Instagram. I love her pictures. They're quite bright, and she uses a lot of the kind of yarn colors that I love. And I think her cabling and her lace is just perfect. The images that she uploads are crystal clear. You can get such a great look at the work she's doing. And I just think that, you know, she updates it enough with a lot of interesting yarns and different projects that she's working on, particularly things like scarves and cowls and socks and hats, a lot of the accessories that we all love. And then she also has some really nice yarn photos as well. And it sort of makes me screenshot these things sometimes and say, all right, well, I'm going to try that yarn. So I think it's worthwhile, you know, if you want to see what other people are using, to get on their Instagram feeds and check it out. The next one is CODEOFMITTENS, and this one says, wife and mama of 2 babies, it looks like, dreamer, knitter, and Latvia. So I guess she's based in Latvia, and that makes sense because a lot of the photos are of these exquisitely made Latvian mittens, which, you know, have that traditional pointed tip and just very intricate pattern and color work. And I'm just sort of always stunned by how perfect these are. So she has a lot of wonderful photos of her Latvian knitting here, as well as some pictures of home and dyeing yarn. There aren't a lot of photos on this feed as yet. I think she's relatively new to it. There are 50 posts. She only has 359 followers, so I think that it's quite a new feed, but I get on and I think there's going to be some more great things coming from her on this feed. This next one is probably one of the first Instagram feeds or Instagrammers that I followed, and it's Lori Ann Graham, and she is in California, and her Instagram account is LORITIMESFIVE. She's got 22,000 followers, and she has exquisite work and photos on her account. I'm going to put up obviously some pictures of her most recent lace work. It's just incredible. I mean, the amount of work that goes into what she's doing here is amazing. And she has some great photos of yarns as well, and different books that she has, and of her working space, which is really cool to see. And I just really love the style of the things that she's knitting as well. There's even some Latvian mittens in there as well. So I find that LORITIMES5 Instagram just has a lot of color and a lot of, you know, a lot of landscape. And I love getting an insight into what people's lives are like, not just endless photos of yarn, which, don't get me wrong, those accounts are great too. The next Instagrammer is Charlie Kosh, and you can find him at Charles Kosh. He has a bunch of beautiful photos of the knitting that he's working on, and some lifestyle photos as well, food, that kind of thing. I just think it's really nice to see the Instagram accounts of other guys who are knitting and see what they're up to. And I just think he's got a really fun Instagram account, and there's some really very interesting shawls, and they're West knits, and there's even a photo of him with Stephen West. So yeah, I think it's a really fun account, and there's also some great pictures of yarn there as well. The next one is actually a couple, Arne and Carlos, and most of you will know Arne and Carlos. I've only just recently started following them on Instagram. I have been watching them on YouTube for quite some time, but this Instagram account is just so full of color. It's so much fun, and I feel like for Arne and Carlos, it is perpetually Christmas. Which I love. It's my favorite time of the year, but as you would expect from their Instagram account, it's just full of color work, full of great little home, home projects. They've got some beautifully knitted stuffed birds here, which, it's just so much fun. And the sweaters that they knit as well are just incredible, like the amount of colors. It's just, for me, I love it, such a muted palette, but I really appreciate seeing these Instagram accounts that are an explosion of color. I guess that's, a bit of a dichotomy, but it's kind of, I love to see it breaking everything up. Going in the complete opposite direction, and one of my most adored Instagram accounts is Helene Amore. Now, I don't know where Helene Amore is based, but she has the kind of Instagram feed that I just envy so much, because it's so cohesive in its tone and color, and it has really nice thematic and chromatic shifts rather than just being this chaotic mess, which I feel like my Instagram feed is. Not that it is a big deal, but it's just a pleasure to scroll and feast your eyes generally on what she has without even going into details of an individual photo. But when you do, it's beautiful. And I mean, I feel like she has mastered the flat lay, especially with her use of negative space and suggestion. And she inserts pictures that will create a mood and give a theme with just great skill. I'm actually not sure that she's even a knitter. I can't remember seeing pictures of her knitting, but there is a lot of knitted stuff in there. And so for me, even though this may not be like a purely or a specifically crafty Instagram feed, it's certainly something that I draw inspiration from, probably one of the more frequent ones that I draw inspiration from. The next account is My Chronicles of Yarnia, and this is Daniel in St Albans in the UK. He doesn't have lots and lots and lots of posts. There's 115 posts. And again, I follow My Chronicles of Yarnia just because I love to see what other guys are coming up with. And Dan does a lot of crochet. And there are some I don't know that it's necessarily amigurumi, but it's these little, the little figurines that he crochets, which I think are really, really cute. He uses a lot of really chunky yarn, so it just sort of breaks up the monotony for me of the kind of stuff that I do. I love to see that as well, but I also like to see something completely different. And so that's why I follow Dan, and I think you should check out his Instagram. It's My Chronicles of Yarnia. The next one is Karin Templar, and her Instagram is Karin Templar. And she's based in Nashville, Tennessee in the USA, and her Instagram feed is one that I've been following for a really long time as well. And it's just got this really clean and fresh, really aspirational kind of feel to it that I love. And the style of knitting that she does is something that I really respond to. She uses some beautiful yarns and some beautiful silhouettes as well. And I mean, look, this, the cable and the seed stitch pattern, it's all just so beautiful, and I just love the way she photographs things. She has a website which is fringeassociation.com, and she says, now in Nashville, Tennessee, I'm also at Slow Fashion October and at Fringe Supply Co., which I didn't know, haven't read that before, and I blog about knitting and handmade style at fringeassociation.com. So check out Karin Templar, check out Fringe Supply Co. Actually, no, I think I am following them. I'm gonna go and follow all her other things in a minute too. Because I didn't know that she actually was those other accounts. And now last but certainly not least, and probably one of my most recent Instagram accounts that I've been following is Chloe Giordano or Giordano embroidery. I mean, have a look at the, oh, there's some new stuff that I haven't seen. That is so beautiful. Grey squirrel. That's actually very interesting. You know, I'll show you some of the, it's just next level embroidery. Not that I am by any means any kind of person to comment on embroidery because I am a knitter. Well, I was purely just a knitter up until very recently when I saw some of Chloe Giordano's embroidery and thought I would love to try embroidery and just see whether or not it's something that I'm interested in. And so I will show you a picture that I did on Instagram here. It was just, I got some embroidery cotton and some embroidery floss and a hoop and needles and decided I would try and copy some of the little greenery that I'd seen in Chloe's works. And I got really bored with that quickly and I decided I wanted to try a grey squirrel. So I cut up an old linen shirt and I just sort of started to, and hold it this way, do a little bit of embroidery, just trying to do little fur-like brush strokes with the needle, not really brush strokes. It's very time consuming, but I find it really therapeutic and really, really fun. So I'm going to continue on with it, which is of course taking time from my knitting because I've got so much time to do all of it anyway, but hey, it doesn't matter. I find it really, really therapeutic. And of course it's a new thing for me, so it's really exciting. I did read like a frequently asked question of Chloe's on her blog, and she says that she doesn't really use embroidery floss. She uses sewing thread, which is much, much finer. And I have to say, when I read that, I thought, I kind of agree. I probably, even though this is mostly single thread from the embroidery floss, which is kind of like a 6-ply embroidery cotton, I would probably still go down and use sewing thread just to get more fine detail. But I'm going to finish this grey squirrel anyway, just because I'm still learning, of course, and you know, trying to get certain techniques down. You know, when I was doing the head, I kind of laid down the base color first, and then I tried to layer other colors on top of that and found it very, very difficult to get the needle through all of that cotton, and woke up the following day with really painful base of thumb. And I thought, okay, there's got to be a better way of doing it. And Chloe actually says that she uses, you know, multiple colors at the one time, and she then blends and shades as she goes. So I'm learning a lot and really enjoying it, but that's what I wanted to show you guys. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this anyway. The other thing that I wanted to show you that I am working on is another item of knitting. The reason I'm doing a different project is that I was running out of the Brooklyn tweed that I had. I was on my last skein and I had only just started using it, and the dogs destroyed most of that remaining skein, so there's not anything left. I need to order a couple more to complete the last panel of this jumper and get it all finished. But I've got plenty of nicer knit lying around, and I've got some nicer knit patterns. So I started to knit this, which is the maritime cowl for my sister in Ireland. And I think these colors I think she'll like these colors. I think they'll really work in where she is. This is a really fun pattern. It was the first time I'd ever done a provisional cast on, and that took me like half an hour to get because I'm a bit of a slow learner. But I didn't really understand from the pattern how this chevron was going to be created, but it's all increases and decreases. So it's all increases, and then there are decreases at the ends of the work. So it keeps it nice and flat along the selvage, which is beautiful, by the way this pattern is written. And yeah, it creates the chevron throughout the work. So I'm just working on that and doing a bit of embroidery, and I will, after the Christmas period finishes, I will get some more Brooklyn tweed and complete that Redford for Reese. And then I'm going to get some more Brooklyn tweed and do, I can't remember the name of the pattern, but I'll pop the name on it on the screen anyway. So that's everything for today. I'm showing you what I've been working on and my 10 favorite Instagram accounts that I'm following at the moment. I will do another of these videos down the track to talk more about the different Instagrammers. Let me know who your favorite Instagrammers are so I can follow them too, and we can build our communities this way by sharing with each other who we like to follow. Anyway guys, it's been great and I will see you next time. Take care of yourself. Bye.